Hey everyone, it's Tasha. Welcome to my channel. So we're going to jump straight in, and I'm just showing you photos here of my before. Now my roots, I haven't done them for about a year and a half. It is crazy. So because I always wait way too long in between doing my hair, I'm going to be completely changing up what I do. Usually I do solid blonde, and I would normally do back-to-back slicing on my entire head. But as you can see, I don't keep up with it, and I really don't want to have a solid line of demarcation anymore, as I go way too long in between doing my hair. So I'm going to be doing something else today, just so that I can go longer in between, and if I don't want to do my hair, I don't have to do it, and the grow out will be just fine and it will look natural. So I'm going to be doing a full head of teasy lights, and I'm going to be leaving quite big dropouts just so that a lot of my natural hair is left in, and it's going to help it blend and grow out a lot nicer without having a line of demarcation. So let's get right into it. As you can see here, this is how I'm sectioning off my hair. I just put it in braids in 4 quadrants. Just instead of using clips, you can just braid if you don't have clips. And here I am starting off with my first section. I am doing zigzag parting just so that it helps blend and diffuse any lines. Because we don't want anything to look perfect, and we don't want stripes or anything like that. And then I'm also weaving my section with a zigzag pattern as well, just for extra blending, extra to make it look seamless, and just to help the whole thing look better and nice transitions. And then I'm teasing it because I'm doing teasy lights, so that is also going to add to making it blend nicer and not have anything look stripy. And it'll help the grow out as well. So here I'm just saturating. Saturation is like the #1 key thing I say in all my videos. You want to make sure you saturate everything so that you get a nice even lift. And here I am just feathering up again to just help the blending transition, and it just makes everything look a lot better. And then I am just making sure everything is saturating, and I am not overlapping onto the blonde ends because those are already a level 10, and I do not want to fry my hair off, so I am not going to be overlapping. I'm just going to feather into the blonde just to make sure that it blends nicely, and then I'm just laying another paper on top. Now a lot of people would just fold up their paper or fold up their foil and make a little packet, but I always find that when you have a seam and you fold the foil at the seam, it kind of pushes the product off of the hair in that spot, and it can lead to uneven lifting. So I just like to, when I'm doing this on long hair, I just like to lay a foil or a paper on top just so that everything lifts nice and evenly. And I'm just going to be continuing doing the same thing all the way up the hair. And like I said earlier, I'm trying to change the look of the way my hair looks, so I don't want it to be solid anymore. I want it to be a nice grow out when it grows out and not have any solid lines. So as you can see, I'm leaving quite a lot of hair out in my drop sections, and I will be adjusting that as I go. Some sections I'll leave more, some sections I'll leave less, but yeah, I want to leave quite a bit of my natural out so that it will be a nice blend for when it grows out. And yeah. And also, as you have noticed probably, I'm just doing my sectioning with my finger for the first part. I tried to do it with the comb, but I can't see what I'm doing because I'm doing it on my head at the back, and I may make this look easy, but it's actually very hard to do your own hair. So I found it easier just to do my finger, just use my finger, and so I can feel the back of my head, so I can feel where I'm sectioning out, and then I use the comb once I already get that sectioned out. And obviously when you do your hair yourself, it's not going to be perfect because you can't see what you're doing at the back, so I'm just doing the best that I can. And I also don't want this to look perfect either. The look that I'm going for, I want it to just kind of be random and not perfectly placed. I don't want anything to look the exact same or stripy or anything, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And also, I forgot to mention that I am just using the Blonde Me Schwarzkopf with 20 volume. My hair is pretty dark and it takes a while to lift, but I always go with the low and slow method just to keep the integrity of my hair. So yeah, I have to leave it on for quite a while to get to the desired length that I want, but it keeps it healthier. And also the Schwarzkopf Blonde Me has a built-in bond enhancer, so it helps give a little added protection. And then I'm also making sure not to overlap on any of my existing blonde, like I mentioned earlier. Yeah, it really pays off to take the extra time to be careful and not overlap and just feather in where it needs it. So just to go over one more time what I'm doing, I'm just doing the same thing all the way up. I'm taking zigzag partings and then again zigzagging my section out, and then I am weaving out different size weaves for each section, and then I'm just teasing the hair because I want maximum blending and I don't want stripiness or any lines, so I'm teasing it out. And I am also just feathering up once I apply the lightener, and that's pretty much what I'm doing the whole way up the head. Now as you can see, I had the comb at the top of the paper for this section. You can tuck the comb in behind the top of your section just to hold the back combing out of the way, just so that you don't end up painting onto the back combing as well. And again, it's a little bit harder to do on yourself because it can fall out, like as you can see it did, but for the most part it still makes it a lot easier even doing it on yourself. Just use the comb and tuck it behind your foil or behind your board to keep the back combing out of the way, and it's just easier to saturate the hair when the back combing is out of the way. And now that I'm getting higher up on the back of the head, I'm going to be holding this up in the air like this. It's easier once you get higher up. It's very hard to do your own hair in general, but when you're doing the bottom at the back, it's easier to hold it down, and then as you work your way up, it's easier to hold it up, and then you can see what you're actually doing in the mirror. I'm doing all of my hair in front of the mirror right now. And I'm also using the board just to have something sturdy to press on so I can get saturation. I don't know how I would ever be able to do this if I wasn't using the board, because it's a nice, like I said, sturdy surface so that I can press and have the pressure on the hair so that I know that it's fully saturated. And it would just be a heck of a lot harder if I didn't have the board doing this on myself. So if you are doing this on yourself, you may want to get a board just to make it a little bit easier for yourself. So because I just continue to do the same thing up the head, I'm just gonna stop talking now and let you guys watch. And then once I get to the front sections, I'm going to be changing just a little bit what I'm doing, just so that I can get a little bit brighter around the face. And I think that's it. Alright, so now I have started on the front section. So I mentioned earlier that I was going to be doing something a little bit different for the front. The sectioning and everything is the same, the teasing is the same, everything is pretty much the same. The only difference is when I'm applying the bleach, I'm going to be bringing it up a little bit higher around the face. So around the face it's going to be higher, and then I'm going to be slowly angling down as I go towards the back of to the other side of the foil, just so that it's gradually a little bit brighter closer to the face, and then a little bit darker going back, so that to match up with the highlights in the back. And that is literally the only thing different that I did in the front on the sides. Now a person could also be adding even more highlights around the face just to brighten it up even more around the face, but I wanted to keep with the more natural, so that when it grew out I wouldn't have to keep up with it if I didn't want to. So I'm continuing on leaving subsections out, but like I said, just bringing it up a tiny bit higher around the face in the papers, just to give a little bit more brightness around my face. It's also so much easier to do your hair, the sides and the front of your hair, as opposed to the back. So once you get the back out of the way, it is a huge relief to then be able to just have to work on the sides and the top, because it's just easier to reach when you're doing your own hair. And as you can see here, the papers in the back are already rinsed out and gone, because I have a child and I couldn't finish the whole thing in one sitting. So I just do what I can, and then I just get back at it a different day if I had to. I think I did my hair in about 3 days, because I could only do so much, and then I would have to just pick up where I left off the next day. And so if you're wondering why there's no papers in the back of my head, that is why, because this is a different day that I had to start a new section. That's also another reason why when I'm doing my sectioning, I do it in braids, because I know when I do my hair, having a child, I don't have all the time in the world. So when I have to rinse out one of the sections, I don't want to get any of the hair mixed in and then lose what I already did and what I have to do. So by doing the braids, once I rinse the section out, the other hair is still in braids, so it won't get mixed in when I'm washing it out, and it's just easier to keep everything sectioned off in braids so that nothing gets mixed in when I'm rinsing it out. Especially when I know that I'm not going to be able to start again until the next day. So it's easier to sleep with the braids, as opposed to you wouldn't be able to sleep with clips in your hair. So with the braids, you can just go to sleep with the braids in, and then the next day you can wake up and get started on your hair again and have everything perfectly sectioned like it was the day before. Alright, so this is a few days later. This is everything rinsed off. This is not toned. I'm just showing you how it lifted. It lifted super nice and even, and I'm very happy with the blend, and the grow will be a lot better than it was. So now I'm going to be showing you guys how I tone my hair.
Yeah, I got good hair.
Today I'm going to be using the Redken Shades EQ 9NA with the processing solution. This is my favorite toner to use because it doesn't bump your base. You can apply it on your whole entire head, and it just does what it's supposed to do on the blonde, and it doesn't affect your natural at all. Unless of course you were using a darker color, but I'm using 9NA. And I'm going to be applying it with a bowl and brush. Now it's easier to use a bottle, but I don't have a bottle, so I'm just going to be using that. And I'm also going to be wetting my hair first because it's easier to apply. You use much less product when you do it on damp hair, and it's easier to get even saturation when it's damp as opposed to when it's dry. Then it just soaks it in like crazy. So because my hair is long, I am going to be using the entire bottle. So I'm just going to pour the entire bottle into my bowl, and Alright, so as I was saying, I'm using the whole bottle into my bowl because it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So then I'm going to fill up the same bottle with the processing solution. Pour that into my bowl. Because I have long hair, I'm just using the whole bottle because I don't want to run out and have to mix more. But if you have shorter hair, you can just use half a bottle or however much you want. So now I'm just going to mix it up. Now this can be really messy to apply with a bowl and a brush because it's so liquidy. So just put on a shirt or something that you don't really care about and just do the best that you can with trying not to make a crazy mess. So I just have my hair divided into two. You can do this however you want. I'm not gonna brush out my hair because it's super tangly from sleeping on it. So I'm just gonna take smallish size sections and then saturate as I go. So I have my hair divided into two. And also, most people when they do a toner, they only leave it on for like 5 to 10 minutes and they watch it just because they don't want it to get too dark. I, on the other hand, I don't care how dark it gets. I'm using a level 9, so it's gonna appear a little dark at first, which I actually like it, and then it lasts longer because usually if you only leave it on 5-10 minutes, the longevity is not there and it washes out in a few washes, whereas when you do you leave it on for the full processing time, it lasts a lot longer. So yeah, it is a little bit darker at first, but I'm totally okay with that. So I just wanted to explain that to you guys. Now of course this would be a lot easier if I had brushed it last night, but I just wanted to give my hair a break because it was just bleached, so I didn't brush it out. I just let it air dry. I'm just applying this from root to end because the blonde is pretty even throughout. If I had any gold or brassiness in my hair, then I would first start off by applying in those areas, just because that's where you want to focus first when you're toning, and then I would go all over everything else. But because my hair lifted pretty evenly everywhere, I'm just going to be applying it root to tip right off the bat. Alright, so here is the finished product. I'm sorry I didn't take the time to style it. Once I finished it, I just put it in a braid, and then this is actually just a few days later. I just took the braid out just to take a video to show you guys. So I'm sorry it's not like nicely styled, but this is the color and it turned out great. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and if anyone has any questions or comments, leave it down below and I will be happy to respond. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next video.